collective energy reading. Please only take what resonates. Always leave the rest for the best. Don't stress, because if you're stressing, it's just a little stress within inside of you. It's emotional factor, it's triggers, mental, emotional capacities. It's that psychological aspect of the mind that triggers, because it's those changes, those changes, those changes, those changes in me. And those changes, those changes, those changes, you're changing me. Cause you're touching those changes and you're breaking those bones within me. Now somebody's getting this emotional factor. Somebody's in Jamie Foxx's energy. They're letting me still get 2 brushes, sharing that same. Their coffee cups, those mugs, your coffee cups, your mugs, they're still laid down like they lay down. They lay down still in that love. Can somebody find somebody to find somebody to get this somebody off my mind? I've been talking to the ceiling like it's going to give me answers tonight. If I'm healing, it's a number. Can somebody find somebody to find somebody to get that somebody off my mind? Friends keep calling me, saying come out. I ghost everybody. They don't want the people around, because your name in my phone feels like heaven to scroll past. Every almost lover turns in to your past. Send me a stranger who knows how to cut ties. Can somebody find somebody to get this somebody off my mind? Somebody could be in that 3 of Wands, in their mind, thinking, creative, inspirational, using their intuitions, connected to their emotions. They could see certain people, family members and friends. They could be in their thoughts. They could be looking at that inner peace, and it's that personal power. That's when you got to gain that self-confidence, look at your self-worth. That's when you got to be creative, start having compassion for yourself. What do I need? What do I want? What do I like? And how do I like it? How I'm going to get there? What I'm going to be able to do to be able to create that. That's when you're getting that willpower, that strength, that clarity to be able to take action. You're seeing about the things that was in the unknown, and you're just moving with that drive, with the spirit within inside of you to be able to take action, clarity. Take this all as it resonates. Because people are trying to find somebody to get this somebody off from my mind, because they're seeing they could want to send you some flirty texts. See these possibilities. That time alone, it's when you're thinking, and you got to take them first steps, because you're not at the beginning of a new journey of action. That's the first steps, holding that power to be able to make the positive changes. That's when you're in Hierophant. Certain people could be getting vexed, because now they're claiming clarity, higher clarity, discernment. Certain people with spiritual occultists, their mindset to your mindset, stubborn, controlling the narratives. You're going to see it as certain people thought it's going to be creative. Actor. They're gaining high clarity. People who was in the church, occultists, trying to hold on that spiritual book. Now they're gaining that higher introspection. They was doing things not on the rightful ways. Now they can come in because they're going to try and find a way confidently, controlling, stubborn, fiery. They should be an hermit, losing introspection, the mindset, their mindset, to be able to control the narratives. This is a Leo. Take it all as it resonates. Could be stubborn, getting higher clarity now. Now you start gaining introspection about the actions, about family members, about certain friends that was being wise. The way they communicated, the way they learned. Makes you feel angry. When you wasn't optimistic and you was being irresponsible, not taking control in the rightful way. That's when you see you taking quick action, and then you're growing. I am and how they was acting, and now they're acting with passion. They could see those boundaries in place with this 3 of Wands, because that's that judgment. Now they're reading, they're seeing that lines, that judgment, that higher clarity. That's when you connect to your emotions. You get angry, you feel hurt. When you was passionate and controlling, who was controlling you. Now you're getting that, the most eyes judgment. That's when you see the revelations, you get that awakening. Who was stable, who was trying to control and possess. They was in a childlike spirit, gambling, taking choices. Their mindset towards money, now they're looking at their values and what they valued. This Knight of Wands, they could be coming quick and fast. They could be strong, powerful, assertive, full of anger, full of rage. Now they're gaining higher clarity. They maybe want to be able to take action towards you, because they can see that judgment's taking place. They could be looking at others now. Certain family members, a friend, they could be seeing you as the high priestess, and now not knowing that clarity, because that Queen of Swords, you could be that one who stands in that power and spoke that truth, and now they're getting that higher awareness about things you could have spoken, stated, and this feminine energy, their mindset, now they're connected to the heart, the love, the passion. Now they was unbalanced. So the truth, you could have spoke the truth about they was unbalanced. They lacked capacity, they wasn't understanding, they didn't have like connect to their emotions, flighting, detached from their emotions. They could have been running through those extra energies, not having compassion and caring and trusting and listening to their gut feeling. You had to accept, speak, stand in your truth, hold that power, put boundaries in place. That was when you was speaking about family members and friends, and you was being two-faced and was indecisive about when you're making choices. You're not being caring, kind and smart and compassionate and enabling people to be able to grow. Who was blocking you and stopping you. You have that spiritual insight. Now they can see, they've got a social awareness of you, so they can see you speaking. And when certain people thought they was creating, because you've got these creative skills, and now you was balanced when you was providing, you took that chance to be able to take that leap. You see now people thought there was a fall within their mindset because they weren't spiritually and emotionally balanced. They was all too busy listening to other people, out partying, socialising, unstable. They wasn't grounded. They weren't looking practical. Now they're looking back towards you and thinking anger, looking back in anger. I heard you say. So now they're looking back because of all those words, and it's like every almost lover turns into your past because of their actions, their mindset, when they've got that willpower of those family members, when you're being courageous, flighting, detached, you're running, you're not connecting, got no compassion, you're not caring, indecisive about choices. B, you just want people to have a social awareness of you. You're rebelling, you're not awakening to the spirit of inside of you, listening to your ancestors, the divine, that balance, like I am and I feel. That's trusting that gut feeling. That's when you got that higher clarity in your awareness, that's that interconnected, and you're looking back because you're growing, higher mind. And that's when you're foreign traveling. So they could be in their mind now, if I wanted to be able to foreign travel towards you. They could be looking now, wanting to think, oh my gosh, I've got a social awareness of you. Speaking, enabling people to grow, balance, having compassion. You're standing within your power. Certain people were stubborn and trying to take power over you because of the way how you learn. You had to protect yourself. Certain people thought the way how you was had to protect yourself, like you were stubborn. But that was you to be able to control and have boundaries in place because of your mind, and you got that higher clarity and you're caring and you got compassion. You knew you was wise. When certain people's indecisive and blocking you from growing and having your insight and growing with love, you just had to hold that, grow with love. Be a fool, take your leap, stand in your empress, your high priestess energy, use your intuitions. When people was being stubborn, lack compassion towards you, you spoke the truth. Stand in your power. Now these divine feminines, masculines, we're looking back towards you. Let's just see what comes out of this bag, see what we can dig deep and get. Right, it says, shine brightly like the stars. So you continuously keep shining. They can see you're standing in your power. You're shining bright like the stars, just the way you are. Keep smiling, because emotions increases the risk of dis-ease. It's a dis-ease which your body thought can alter the body. So they can feel that dis-ease now. It's a spiritual, emotional, mental dis-ease within their body. It's like your heart, your back. They can feel it in their spine, the eyes, the hand, and that's like circulation within the body because it's altering those feelings, it's emotions, adrenaline, it rushes. Because when you get that higher clarity, you have that discernment now, you're ricocheting, you're thinking, oh my gosh, you want to speak, and it's that shock feeling because it's your throat chakra. And that's when you'd want to communicate because that's that willpower and it's that truthfulness, and you get that higher clarity. When people put these boundaries, they may want to express because you're still standing strong. So they can see you're still standing strong in your power, speaking your truth. So about certain people's occultists and when they institutionalize you within your mind and how you're supposed to grow, you have to take that mask off when certain people are putting these skeleton masks on your head and trying to confuse you, psychological, because that's a judgment, because your boss knows they was wrong, trying to do right. So they was wrong, trying to do right, controlling, stubborn. That could have been somebody that you work with, creative skills, arts, craft, speaking, communicating socially, artistic, learning from experiences from others. So now you'll be learning from experiences from others, 5, 7 relationships. You look back, you're going into introspection, you put the boundaries in place. You see who was caring, providing, who was compassionate, who wasn't compassionate, who was being real, who was being fake, who was judgmental in that relationship, who was being indecisive and not unable to be able to make up their mind. Because she done this before. So you could see this Queen of Swords could have spoken, lied and blocked a family member, a friend, a feminine energy who thought they was wise. They thought they was a high priestess, thought they was being creative, the way that they express and block you, being judgmental. They were supposed to be empowering people, they was dismantling people. That's controlling relationships. Actual energies 10, karmic cycles. That's because they was rebelling. They didn't have those firm structures because they was insecure. That's because they had this aggressive energy. You was inspiring other people. They was competing against you. That's because that's a social awareness. When you're at family, friends, ancestors, that's when you're connecting the bridges to those gaps, and you have to go back because it's the illusions. And when you're been able to use your intuitions and the way people express their emotions, this is like a mother figure, father, and that's where they like the most private parts of their life they hide because they lack stability, they lack compassion, they lack love, they lack nurturing, they're not caring. That's when you're like holding grudges and you don't want to forgive yourself for your sins that you've done, and you're not able to master the craft of your craft, the mysteries of your story. That's when you're looking back at the karmic cycles. Who's growing, who's slowing, who do you have to protect yourself from? Because when you're steadfast and you're organized, and certain people haven't got firm structures, they're not connecting to their intuitions, they haven't got that intelligence as you do to speak truth. Certain people lie. That's when you're on that karmic cycle and you're going around and around. They aren't encompassed, they aren't embodied those 4 bodies of consciousness. So they're conscious and subconsciously blocked. They haven't mastered their story because that's looking about phases. They use their beauty. Now they wanting to be able to come running back. So they maybe want to be able to speak towards you and come running back towards you, because now they're looking. They may want to send you a flirty text because that's they've got intimacy issues, and that's how they'll glow up. Now they're looking at that moonlight. They could have certain intimacy issues connecting to their emotions and just flighting, detached, just external energies, and don't really connect because they're still standing strong. They can see you're standing strong because that's that green flag parade. Green flags wave in style. Safe feels hot. Respect in the boldest flex. So you stand for a firm flex. Certain people could have been flexing and standing firm, thinking that they was that one. You knew you stood with love. You had that compassion, grounded, stability, dependable, powerful. Certain people's trying to be stubborn and controlling about material aspects of life. You was critically analysing and thinking. You was at introspection. You had clear vision, clear thought. You listen to the spirit within inside of you. They says move with love, continue to be creative, continuously keep speaking, maintain that balance, enable people to grow, and give them that introspection. Take it back, look at yourself. That's when you're having that grace and that beauty. God grant me serenity to accept things I cannot change. Continuously granting me that courage to continue maintaining that love, so I can give love and be love, so I can do right, so good can follow. And that's you having that oneness within inside of yourself. You've got high introspection. You've got clarity. Certain people was doing it because they wanted to be seen by your masculine energy. They didn't know how to maintain firm structures. You had that respect and you knew that was that boldest flex because you went by the book. Don't do to others that you don't want to be done to yourself. Don't judge and then be judged. You got that discernment. You spoke truth. You went deep. You gained high introspection because you had to look at practicalities of life. Certain people's out there for just material possessions, money, wealth. You looked and taught the truth. It's about communication. You went towards your ambitions and your dreams. You looked at your goals and your structures. You wasn't able to have that quick thinking of your mentality about these friends and family members and the relationships that you maintain. You wasn't able to release it because you was practical through these experiences of others, because you slay. That was your slave face, and that was that force, and it can't be stopped because it was discipline. It sharpens your edge, her edge. Power smashes every ceiling. So you were smashing every ceiling, so now they're questioning to the ceiling, looking up to the ceiling and trying to be able to gain their answers. You got that higher clarity from the divine. You looked up to the Most High. Move inside of you. Stay balanced, steadfast. Now this masculine 14, they're gaining structures because it's temperaments. You had temperaments. You was that peace of mind, that peace of thought, because they could see. Now they're looking now because nothing. They're running back. They want to be able to look. Now they want to be able to come run back towards you. This Queen of Swords. You could be this Queen of Swords, standing in power, standing in truth. Because that's that soul mate's signal. It feels Asian like deja vu. soul sinks, and it's strong, and it's like songs, fate, flirt in daylight. So they can see they're having this compassion now, they're having this awareness. You stood in your truth, you was moving with love, because that's that hot girl main character, walks like the spotlight. And you're looking with that confidence, it pulls that gaze and it plays at her and the headline. They want to be able to speak this truth. You were speaking this truth. You're just holding this spotlight. It plays at you. Now they're seeing you as that ace of possibilities, because you're that queen of parade. And you're standing because you feel hot, and it's respect. People have to respect those boundaries. Come correct or don't come back at all. Have compassion, have understanding. Don't do to others that you don't want to be done to yourself. Because that's when you have to grow. Because when you're slow, and that's that sun, because you're that clarity, and it's that yang principle. Father, woman, husband, it's that soul's creative expression, and that's manifesting joy. And that's that divine love through passion to be able to grow, take that leadership. Look at your individual true self, let down that ego, that pride. That's when it's part of evolution. Because you may not like me, but your kids love me. So that feminine might not like you, their kids love you. That masculine might like you, but their kids love you. Telling you the truth, letting you know how I feel. So you stand in your power. You told the truth. You let people know how you feel. Yeah, I love you, I care for you, I've got that compassion. But when you're stubborn and you're trying to control, my loyalty is to rely more with myself. I have to let go that no longer serves me. Yeah, I'm going to be creative and have to protect myself. I'm using my intuitions because I'm wise, I'm steadfast. I've got discipline. That's how I feel with inside of myself. Your habits and your emotions are two different emotions and habits from me. I have to be wise and have compassion. That's me being creative, to be able to express, move, look at my stability, nurture my mindset, look at the physical, the mental aspects of me, because you're going to make me feel unbalanced. Because that's personality and background differences. So you had personality and background differences. So you wasn't able to slay because you was balanced. Their mindset was towards money. You connected to the spiritual as well as the physical. They was running for like personal, to be able to possess. Relationships, external energies, flighting, detached, not nurturing their self, not listening to their intuitions. You was balanced. Mentally, emotionally. You're then compass. Remember, you're a high priestess. So you've looked at certain things from the unknown. You see the black to the white to the grey area. Divinely guided and balanced. You listen to that intuitions because you're sharpening your edge. Hurt people. Hurt people. Feelings, thoughts, lead correctly. Spark positive. So you knew hurt people. Hurt people. You was balanced when people was judging you, looking at you, didn't realize that you was slain because you was standing in your power, because you was a true divine feminine. 5'10", they was blocked because of the mental capacity of their mind, the way they learned, the way you learned. You had two different learnings. You connected with love, understanding to be able to understand. They didn't understand the process because you going to be quitted. They going down with the karmic. So you're going to be quitted. They're going down with the karmic. You speak that truth. Now they're going down with that karmic. Now they in their mind about you, after they lied, cheated, made happy families, all they do is think about you. All day long I think of you. I can't even think of things to do. Even on my mind I think of you. Tell me what am I to do? Talking out on the telephone. They may want to call you on the telephone. Seven of Swords, because it's about these deception and certain people was having these distractions. These family members and friends, they want to tell you the truth about that higher clarity of their mind now. They could be determined now because they're coming with this passion and love. They're gaining that insight. They're gaining balance about these family members and friends and the relationships and all that clarity. That's when you're connecting. And that's when you're asking God to grant me serenity, because they can see now that slave force and you're slaying, and that's slaying within their mind. They're getting introspection because of that strength. And that's when you go inwards. And that's where our inner power and our certain people, family, friends, a feminine that was dominating over them, trying to control, being stubborn, idealistic, driven through jealousy. They could have had mind clarity, the control in their mind, so that not be able to speak, so they didn't shut up because they wasn't grounded. And that's because they lacked strength. They can see now certain people was idolizing you, watching you because of your purpose, and you was balanced, you was dependable, they was stubborn. Certain people was trying to possess, take control, thinking it was being creative of your masculine. because there's things that was in secret, and the things what they was trying to possess, some inheritance and taxes and loans. They could be seeing now they're mastering, scaling structure, looking back to the foundations. Certain people's trying to block them, moon some illusions. Now they're looking, because that's that ancestral karma. Now they're seeing the purpose. Hurt people. They could have tried to block you and control you, because now they're in their mind about you after they lied, cheated, and made it happy families. All they do is think of you. This Witch of Pentacles, because you could be caring, nurturing, providing, supporting. All they do all day long, I think of you. I can't even think of things to do. Even in my mind, I think of you. Now tell me, what am I to do? Because they say you're caring nature, you're beauty, you're stable, you're providing, you're supporting. Now they're critically thinking and analysing how you was loyal. They maybe want to be able to come and help you or provide some money towards you. You're stable, nurturing. They're looking at you now. You wasn't able to tame them as that lion. You was that strength. You was a clarity. You was that one. Now they can see they have these illusions and confusions, all because of fear. Or because they just their attitude and their approach, their aggressive energy, stubborn, controlling. They wasn't caring, nurturing. They didn't connect when they was making these choices. Spiritually, mentally unbalanced and blocked. Now they're in their mind. They're thinking about you. Stress, Mercury, because that's that 10 of Wands. If they're feeling overwhelmed, because you're that hot girl, it's that hot girl trapped in your standing in your truth, and now they're overwhelmed, because it's that overwhelming feeling when you start mastering the craft about that willpower and that strength and that force. When people was putting it in and they was insecure and they was detached from their emotions, and they was bringing those insecurities, trying to possess it out, but it's brought it out in them, because now they're looking about these illusions, and it was like the people who holded power over them. So now they can see about this feminine family, friends who holded power over them, your career, your job. That could have been certain your boss, and when your boss is trying to take control of you and trying to master, and you're not looking back to the mysteries of your story, and you have to look, because that's the part what was longing for. And you're looking now, because that's when you have to look at those difficult experience, those life paths, take control, gain structure, who was being hardworking, who was looking at the things that's in secret. So they want to come and let you know about all these things in secret, because they should be glad they got you on their side, left, right, above, and in front, so they could see you had the spiritual guides, the ancestors. They should be glad that they had you on their side, left, right, above, and up front. You wasn't able to gain that higher clarity in regards to the actions that this fire sign, masculine, feminine, was on with. They could see that they was in that ego, all because of your pride, and you can see now they're gaining clarity. They didn't get introspection. They lacked respect, dignity. They didn't have a moral compass. Now they're looking back towards their attitude and their approach towards life. That's when you gain eye clarity. You know, if you're running quick towards that quick book, money, pentacles, their mindset was all on money. Now they're reading the writings, the scroll. They don't have weapons, but I'm a weapon, which means they might. The mighty is up to you. So they didn't have weapons. You seen. They don't have weapons, but you was that weapon. You was that weapon. You was that strength. You was that Witch of Pentacles. You was a carer, nurture, provider. You was that star. You was just shining just the way how you are. You was that sun, that whole clarity. You was that waymaker. You was that fulfillment. You was that whole 10. You was that whole 10 of cups, and they was like, you had your firm structures. You were able to be able to ground those masculines, feminines. Now they're honouring you. The way how they honoured you, they're honouring you. Now they're looking back towards you. They honoured you, that infinity and beyond, from times before, that strength. They was like, you was beauty, they was a beast. Now they're looking back towards you. They've got a feminine energy around them, looking back towards you. That's the earth sign, water sign. They was trying to control, hold on. Selfish, clinging on to that masculine for money. They didn't have that groundment, that was for foundations. They was trying to create families. Now they're looking about these spilt things. It won't move with love. And it was all aggression and action, sexual energy that they was around, and the way how they moved. Now you can see they was that idealistic and driven through jealousy. Now they're encompassing, looking now those being unrealistic, looking back to their story, 12 karmic cycles. Now they can see that's that awakening, those illusions. Now they're feeling overwhelmed. because people, the action that was once productive, fruitile, and dedicated to your works, bringing forth divine gifts, and that's prophecy, you will no longer go there. For fear of any barriers or thorns turning away from you led to that spiritual barrenness. And that's thorns cause Genesis, and that's thorns, they got that spiritual Genesis, that spiritual barrenness. 3, because there was sin, and it was vines of thoughts, its obstacles that choke spiritual growth. So they lacked compassion, they wasn't caring, and when they thought they was being creative, those feminines, masculines, the energies, the karmics, when they were speaking, thought they was being wise, they wasn't being creative. That's the people you go to school with. They didn't look at that dynamics, the choices, how you communicate when you're traveling, thinking within your mind. Was you communicating effectively, or was you being a bit of a bitch? Was you being wise? Was you being nice? Because that's that growth, and it's from fruitful ground, and it's inseparable, and it's decisions. You look at it, it's reversible of the future, because they will become places for oxen to graze and for sheep to trample on. They was under stewardship and fortune to be able to come neglected. They surrendered you to the wild animals, uttered, and they're looking at that location now. It's that spiritual decline and a consequence of disobedience. They're looking to reflect now, because that's that leaves of spiritual ground, and they're tempted, and it didn't stay natural. They become wild thorns, spiritual obstacles and consequences that led them in that ruin, and they lack strength. And that was glad, because it was bliss, and it was highly favored gifts, so they can see your bliss. You was that highly favored gift. Now they're looking back towards you, because your child thinks you're slow. You know everything. So your child could have thought you were slow. Their child could have thought they were slow. Your child could have thought you were slow. You know everything. Remember what your nan said. So they could be remembering what their nan said, that infinity, information, what the nan said. Provide support, ground yourself, have love, have compassion. Don't do to others that you don't want to be done to yourself. Listen to that spirit within. Tame that lion, have that strength, know about boundaries. Gain your structures, look at your firm foundations. Don't let people rule dominion over you. Listen to your mind. Sit down with oneself, relax. Move with love, have compassion. Listen to that higher clarity. Have them 7 lampstands awoken. When you're looking and you're taking action, look at these illusions when people are causing you confusions. Lay under an open heaven. So you had to know you was under that open heaven. You listen to the signs of the wonders, because it was that bigger goals that you had in place. Certain people was blocking this because they didn't have that weapons, but you're just that weapon. That means you're the mighty one, and it was all up to you to stand in your power. Speak that truth out of all your family members and friends, because you listen to the words, when you listen to the book, because that was that block, the noise. You block the noise, you let go. You had that discernment, had boundaries, went towards that growth. You seen when people's indecisive, you was adventurous. You seen, all right, let's be fair-minded and move with justice, because your too many opinions clouded that clarity. Silence helps you reconnect with yourself, perfect your inner voice. So you silence yourself, you perfected your inner voice, got higher clarity, listen to the spirit, move with love. You was optimistic, open-minded, you had to be charming, sincere. You had clarity. You gain those firm foundations of those structures, because that was looking, because that was you and the inner thoughts and an external, that spokesman speaking towards you. That was you going through the virtues, and it was what you valued, because it was that outer world, that the sacred world that you see. Taurus, Libra, balance, love, feminine energies, use your intuitions, move with beauty, do it in an artistic way, speaking and looking. Are you earning your money to be able to create? And certain people was creating and thinking that was positive, but they wasn't speaking right the way that they was doing it. They was sort telling lies, causing confusion to be able to block the mind, conflict in people's mind, so you wasn't able to grow and have that high clarity, or even move with love, because they had hurt and pain from past heartache relationships, because they could see there was like wide thorny spiritual obstacles that they was going through. All of a sudden now they can see they're missing you, because it was that universal pushback, those wide thorned obstacles, because that was when you had these obstacles to be able to redirect you, and it was looking intentionally to be able to bring you to that need to move forward. That's when you don't want to make that transformation, change, look, introspection, Pluto. That's when you're going to go and get into that Power Rangers, and they was morphing into like Splinter. They was moving like, well, they should have been moving like Splinter. You could have been like Splinter. They miss you now because someone is thinking about you. That Queen of Pentacles, that lover, how you speak the truth. This is the truth and the clarity, because they're looking at that distractions are falling away. Your vision becomes sharper because they're in that silence now. They can be pushing back those people who's trying to rule and hold dominion over them, their mindset, that physical, mental, emotional. That's for that transformation, change. They're looking in that alone time, because when you're alone, you start to grow and get on your own into knowledge, trying to be able to block you. Certain people's blocking you, blocking the noise, family members and friends. Remember who you are, all aspects of you. So you remembered who you were, all aspects of you. Good, bad, ugly, for growth, why, what, when, who. So now they're remembering who they are. Why, what, when, who, the good, the bad, the ugly, the aggression, that energy, that attitude, that ego, that pride. Let it go, change, get higher clarity, take off that devilish, yeah, this. Because that's the universe. It's letting you know, female family member involved to fuck you up. Relationship, friends. That female family member was involved to F you up, block you. Relationship, friends. Because she's a bit of a bitch, sad, cold-hearted, clingy, lack compassion, got no firm foundations, detached from their own self, father, mother issues, physical abuse, fighting, punching. And that's what they fall problem, arguing, can't help themselves on this masculine, physical abuse, punching, feminine, take it all as it resonates. All of a sudden they miss you because it's Vertimus, Roman god. Changing season. So now that's that, get into that Roman god, they're changing season, changing their mind. That's when you're encompassing and they're connecting, because they're depending on that mindset, the way how they're moving like Matthew, Luke and John. So they're experiencing this full consciousness now, passion, creativity. They may need nurturing because they're gaining that stability, high clarity of mind, clear thoughts, clear feeling, clear sentiment, just overthrowing apart. That's those demons. So now they're overthrowing those demons, that mental clarity of their mind, people who's holding them, those family members and friends. You overthrow them, those divine feminines and masculines. That was that first step. You took that new beginning. All of a sudden, they wanted you to feel alone. You got in that alone time and listened to that divine guided spirit. You took to the full casket records because they was trying to block you. But you knew. You gained this introspection because you went into that sacred shelter and you seek safety, and that was craving place to that root, your purpose. It was that urging natural. It was building that inner sanctuary where your soul needs to be able to grow. So you see in the universe push you back so you could have that soul's growth, listen to that spirit, that higher clarity, connecting divinely, creatively speaking, with truth, using your intellect. That's when people got a social awareness of you, gaining knowledge, going back to college, going back to school, learning, questioning yourself, your abilities, because it was emotional crossroads. When people was blocking you, you blocked out that noise, and that was a part of that emotional crossroads when you had to gain insight. That was you gaining that inner strength, steadfast, organized, gaining introspection, going into hermit, looking back, being creative, looking back at that firm foundations, because you know it was a part of the structure, certain habits, certain illusions, confusions. It was a deep, most private part. It was those roots. It was ancestral. It was lineage, connect to that conscious mind, consciously awoke. And that was confusion arises when the heart and the mind clashes. It was that pause, so you could have that wholeness. That was when you had to ask God to grant you serenity to accept things I cannot change. Give me that courage and that wisdom for me to know better, for me to do better. Having that discernment within inside. Third eye activated. You and able to be able to let go of burdens past when people was blocking you, but you still owed that compassion and you move with love and you lighted that because that was a part of your sacred shelter. And now they're looking back towards you because they miss you. Explore of possibilities. You are opening the new way. Acting, learning through these experiences. Curiosity is your greatest ally. And now, try, fail, learn, repeat. Now we're looking back, failing, repeating, learning. Now they want to be able to take that lead because that's that jump, higher clarity, because the soul's blooming. The heart, those emotions, that's overwhelming. That 10 of Wands, when you're looking back and you can see the mistress to your story. That was that hot girl, that character, who you are. Now they're focusing now to be able to come towards you because that's the spirit of inside. That's that love. It's moving because it's emotional crossroads, especially since I didn't think I could do anything with my magic right now. Too depleted. So they thought they could do with nothing with their magic. Now they can see they're getting that higher introspection, that alarm, that light, that emotion, that lighthouse, that lampstead's awakening. Considered punching, shouting the old-fashioned way. Get a bit of this aggression. So they considered punching, block, the old-fashioned way to get at that aggression, but now they're gaining that higher clarity, higher awareness. Because remember, they needing somebody. Can somebody find somebody to get somebody off my mind? Returning to love. So now they're returning to love because it's that sacred shelter of the universe. That's that strength, introspection, transforming, changing, higher clarity, getting discernment. That's when you're healing yourself, cleansing the mind. I know you can't speak because you can't lie. So you know these divine feminines, masculines can't speak to you because they can't lie, because you see, you've got that higher clarity, you're interconnected with the divine. You feel, you see when you're with or without them. Now they feel, they see when they're with or without you, because that's that clarity. You're leading there, that light. You are that light. Incorporeal being, who were the messengers that fulfilled his wish or willed. Osiris 348, because you was that divine partner for enable them to transform 11 to be able to connect to that spirit. You was that ancestral, you was that divinely guided gift. You was a part of that orchestral records. 8, they was on that karmic cycle, transforming their mindset. Psychological aspects of their mind was blocked. Now they're feeling alone, because especially right now, since they didn't think they had that magic to manifest you, now they're getting creative, compassion, thinking about how am I going to come. They want to be able to move with love, communicate to you, because to that right path, come with love. Love is a beautiful journey, and you're on that right path. They want to come with you to love. 3-6, they're in that mind Mercury retrograde. They could be traveling to your house and coming up on your door. Wow. The X. Voids. Voids rushing to fill voids with love. Seek inner fulfillment first. So your ex, they need to be able to seek that inner fulfillment first, because unseen, closure, adventure. So that seek adventure together, it adds excitement in your journey. What's this one I can see here? So they may be wanting to come to you for that. Oh, we manifest that. Creativity, joy, abundance, that true 10. I will not be controlled by anybody. So you knew you took that right path because you weren't being controlled. No longer cutting me down for others' ego. So no longer you won't be being controlled. They won't cutting you down for others' ego. You connected. You blocked out that noise. Those family members and friends stood in your power because you had high clarity. You gained high wisdom, because that's why they was a void. They didn't want to connect. Thanksgiving. You giving back to the fucked up friends. So Thanksgiving, they was giving back to the effed up friends, family members that they was around, partners. Calm harmony with oneself. So you have this calm and harmony. They lack calm and harmony with their self. I can feel your energy. Be responsible for the energy you bring. First, awareness. Everything vibrates at a frequency. Oneness with all. I feel natural health. Oneness. So feel that, because they're putting these energies to you. So if you feel these masculines, feminines, remember, they want to be able to come back because they're changing. I'm changing. You can feel that change. Jewelry for protection, healing from your ex, healing from the past. Heartbreak takes time. To be patient with that growth. It's inner peace and connection to your complete trust in ancestors and spiritual path. Your talisman personal initiates that attracting positive energy. It's transformative communication. Now recall and show respect for those divine feminines, masculines, family members, as well as friends, your ancestors, your guardian angels, the Most High within you. You celebrate with them without even that celebrate with you, by providing you with that something. That's the virtues and its victory. It's a song and your honor. Your ancestors, those divine feminines, masculines, family member, secretly honor you for your past service, presenting you with a gift. Your important value, that complete trust, that divine favor. It's a gemstone. You're blending ancestors' wisdom, and it's modern. It's looking at that, the aesthetic, as I can't get the word out. Aesthetic, fuck's sake, aesthetics. Your principle, your natural body opinion. It's opinions and applications that you be just impressing modern philosophies. It's information. It's sharing it, enabling it. It's burning and joining those bridges of spiritual and physical connections. So they can see they're connecting now to those emotions, to the heart. Whether you're there, it's that omnipresence, that omniknowledge, when you've got that higher awareness, higher clarity. I think there's one more. We'll read this one. Courage and strength. It's valiant. They be showing courage and determination to be able to hold anger in check and break down that's determined, especially when they're facing difficult and dangerous situations. Acting with bravery and boldness has a lack of faith in the face of doing. Determined strong senses of resolve. It's perseverance even when the odds are against those divine feminines and masculines, family members and friends who struggle against difficult circumstances. It's vigilant battles, effort, going and business, even that edge, even that skillful in war. Tough fights, warrior, ready to combat. It's fundamental. Remember, you've got to use those hidden skills within inside of you. It's like Bellatrix, and it's looking, it's fighting, it's spiritual strength, and you've got to be able to store that. It's deliverance, it's that raw power with that strategic skills. You're like Joshua. You're that shield, the sword. You're looking like that bow and the arrow to speak that truth for that battle. No weapons formed against shall not prosper. 100 on the right, 100 on that left, and any giants that's warring, that conflict between the descendants of you, or even those divine feminines and masculines, it's defeating. They're getting put to shame because they're unsacred. And your importance, that is intense conflict and adversary, difficult and unpleasant situations they may be facing. That you had that avoided, so you avoided those situations. Take this all as it resonates, guys. I'm just going to get some letters and see if any letters fit for you. How these take so long sometimes. S-Y. I heard you say A, and they heard you say A, so I heard you say. I heard you say sync, now let's find the synchronicities. I heard you say, I heard you say, they heard you say, Faye, say. They could have said you was Faye, stay, when you were speaking. They could have been G-A, because you was happy. You could have said Sam, Sammy. You could have said they was a scam. Vas. You could have said that they, now they're saying for F's sake. You be like F you. B. Sub. They could be seeing these subliminal messages. Gum. They could have gambled you. Come. K. Say may. Buy. Fake. S. F. U. A. K. F. Y. G. V. C. M. B. C. M. BM, VM, GM, YM, FM, UF, AF, SAF. They could see as that safe place. They may want to come back. They may see you as that bay. They may say, F you. You could be saying, come back, bae. Game. Same. S at the back. Gas. Mask. They maybe have a mask on. Take this all as it resonates. Social awareness of you, back screen. They like your vibe, value, cake, bake,